Hi there, John Shell, Corvette Power Top Service, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Oh, wow, December 2018 already, okay? Been working on these power tops for probably 27 years now. And even myself, learning more about them and the operation and what was painted, what wasn't painted. And it's been a good adventure for me, okay? Not a lot of guys have investigated this whole system. So we want you to come in. My son's doing the video. Thank God for him. And we're going to do, in one of my videos, I had all these parts laid out on the table. That's at CorvettePowerTopService.com. You can see all my videos. And I forgot to put this very arm in that video, which mounts to the deck lid, okay? Want to say a little bit about these arms. They use this arm right here from 56 to 62. I'm not sure about the part number, but in 56, they did not have this hole drilled right here because they were using this type of a paddle to hit the toggle switches. But in 57, and in fact, late 66, I found a 56. I found a late 56. It was the 44th one made from the end that actually had the 57 to 62 power top unit in it. That's the first one I've ever seen. But in all your early 56s, mid 56s, they used this style of unit on the end of the deck lid cylinder. But right now we want to focus on this one right here. We want to go to even the bolts. Stay right there, Chris. I have found 57 and 58 and 56. I don't know when they changed it. Actually had a bolt and a lock washer and a flat washer with a TR. It was a TR bolt, and they actually used that type of bolt system to attach this to the deck lid. You can see in Nolan Adams's book, here is a picture of a 57 right there, and you can actually see the bolt with the lock washer and the flat washer. In maybe late 58, going on from 59 to 62, they used this type of bolt right here. It was a bolt, had a E or an F on it, but it already had the built-in washer, serrated edge, of course, and they used that type of bolt to bolt the arm to the deck lid. So that right there is a little bit of instructions on the bolts. This arm was painted, of course, and whatever area the gas tank well was where the convertible top lays down in, that was all painted. Now, I want to show you two different variations of this paddle that was used from 57 to 62. This version right here, as you can see, this is the 57 and even 58. I don't know when they changed it for sure, but I have found some 58s, early 58s, even a mid 58 that still had this version of the paddle, but they changed it. You can see the difference of the length there. And why they changed that length was because they were not touching this lower micro switch enough. It was with this paddle here, it was barely touching. It was way down in here, okay? It was way down in here. In fact, on the 58, I actually moved this up on the trunk divider fiberglass so that it would touch this a little bit better, because you wouldn't want it to get caught in behind there. So that might be something you might want to look at on your 57 and 58s, is if you're having a problem, you can go to extend your paddle there. But this paddle here, it will hit the switches real good, okay? And that's why they've changed this paddle. in maybe mid 58, but 59, 60, 61, 62 had this type of paddle, okay? So we're going to move on now to this little guy right here that mounts on your deck lid cylinder. And like I said in another video, this is no adjustment. This is no adjustment to, well, I got it on there pretty tight. You want this screwed onto this cylinder as tight as it'll go. I've seen some of them where they've only got it on there halfway and they're trying to get some adjustment on the deck lid. No. Your cylinder will move your deck lid the way it should be moved. This needs to be screwed on there all the way. And so we're going to come to the internal parts of this little guy right here. And most of them, we find a bushing like this right here. We find a bushing that slides up and down inside this into this cylinder. And it's supposed to slide up and down like that. If you notice, it does not come out all the way, okay? Why they had it like that, I have no idea. But I've even had one person tried to actually put something in here so they could get a little more travel with their deck lid. They had that blocked off so this couldn't move back and forth. No, this needs to move, okay? A lot of times these are broke and they, or maybe it's missing or whatever. So we're going to show you a option that you could use to, if you're missing this piece right here. So we're going to stop the video and I'm going to prepare to make a bushing here in front of you. Okay, so what we got here is I've showed you what the original bushing looks like and how this attaches to the deck of the cylinder. I had a man make me some of these. He came up to me and I was showing him about this bushing and how they were hard to come by. I looked on the internet. He says, I'll make you some of them. So he made me about a dozen of them. And no, I don't want to sell any, but you can see that he did a pretty good job. And he brought this out flush, which no problem at all. But he did a nice job on that. But what I want to show you is I get these at Menards. This is a bearing, a brass bearing. And Chris is going to get you the part number there. It's 3/8 by 1 inch in length, okay? Half inch diameter. And so we're going to use this. We're going to modify this bearing here. As you can see, it doesn't want to fit in there too good. So what I'm going to do here is put my safety glasses on. And we're going to hog that out just a little bit, okay? That ought to about do it. There we go. Now to cut it down, I'm going to shove that in and I'm going to strike it here on the back side with my hacksaw to make a mark. Make a mark. You see the mark there. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it in one of my pins here. 3/8 pins. Put it in my vise. And we're going to cut it. Get it over here. This is just basically a tube cutter. And Chris, why don't you come over here on this side. And I'm going to get this lined up with my mark. Going to have to bring it out a little bit more here. Put it in there kind of tight. Give it a good squeeze. And we're just going to cut it. Got to keep it pretty tight or it'll start to make another cut. So this is just a good alternative if you're minus your plastic bushing, which a lot of them are. Okay. Then we're going to get that off the pin, and I'm going to take my Dremel clean the burrs up. Take my file. Kind of flatten out any burrs on that edge. Any vice marks there, screw that up. And then touch it again with the Dremel. Now let's just see here what we got. There we go. It could be filed down a little bit more, but you got to remember in this there is plenty of room. So we're going to stop the video and then we're going to proceed on putting this together. Okay, so what I've done is I've already put this paddle on here, and I want to show you this is how it looks from the rear of the car. Okay, again, this would be from the rear of the car, your deck lid cylinder coming up and attaching to it, okay? So that's how we're looking from the rear of the car. This would be going forward then to compress your 2 micro switches in the trunk lid area. So now we want to come, and I want to show you how to put the pieces inside this area here. Originally, we had a pin that was grooved out like that, and it went through there, and on the other side we had a clip like this. Now a lot of times this has been lost, and so they don't have these parts right here. So what I've done is I have come up and have a pin with a cotter key on it, okay? So the correct installation on this, and I'm going to show you later on in the video why I want it like this. I want this pin going through like this. I want the cotter key and these 2 washers to take up space on this side. And there's a reason for that. We're going to put 2 washers on there, and because we're going to take up some space. I don't want that coming back and forth like that. And the main reason why is when this is mounted and your switch right here is mounted with the cover, you have to adjust this right here so this does not hit the edge of that cover. You don't want that, okay? So that's why we're putting the pin in that way, and we're going to adjust this so these micro switches, of course, they've got to hit the paddle good, okay? But we do not want this rubbing over here and catching it. You should have at least probably 3/16 of an inch between this and your pin right here. So we're going to stop the video here, and I'm going to put the internal parts in this arm here. All right, as you can see here, instead of fumbling around while the camera was going, I went ahead and installed that. So, like we've talked about, I've got the pin, and inside here now we've got the bushing on this side right here. We've got the bushing in on what would be the right side. And then, after that, we've got this wave washer right here. General Motors use this wave washer. It doesn't do much. It was supposed to probably take up some slack, which it really doesn't, but I've put this together just the way it was from the factory. So we got, you can see the wave washer in here. So we got the pin, we've got this part that extends off of your deck lid cylinder, we got the bushing, and we've got the wave washer, and then we're going to put our 2 washers on here to take up any slack, and we're going to put our cotter key in. Now, if we were using the original equipment with the keeper here, we would be doing it the very same way, okay? So there we've got, if you want to put just a regular washer, not a wave washer in there, if you want to put a regular washer in there to just take up some of the slack, you can. But this is basically the way it was from the factory. It was sloppy, okay? So here's another thing. Grease this or oil this very good. This does slide back and forth, and that's what it's supposed to do. So put some oil in there, a little bit of grease or whatever. So this concludes the seminar on the arm. Again, we have this painted the same color as what your convertible top well would be. Remember, we have 2 different designs of the paddle. This is the way it's going to look in your car from the rear. From the rear. So I hope this helps you. Remember, this is Corvette Power Top Service, Fort Wayne, Indiana. CorvettePowerTopService.com for all my videos. John Shell, Fort Wayne, Indiana. And remember, I got the power, but it's these power tops. Have a great day.